Shows you what's happened here. The knights have pursued into the river. They've lost several of their number. And I'm poised to actually counterattack later on with the rat ogres, and hopefully the assassin rallies so I can keep his points there. But in the meantime, the assassin's unit is actually blocking my charge here across the river. Not that it's too urgent to charge. I mean, he's got a big, powerful unit of greatswords across there. Greatswords being much better now with the new rules, but don't want to engage them. Next photo, what I am engaging on the other hand is the tank, and I'm really loving this photo. We've added a bit of light to the photo. Even though this is an evening game, we've managed to get a lot of artificial lighting in here, and now swamping the steam tank with frenzied plague monks and a unit of clan rats, which I ultimately cast Death Frenzy on as well, just giving me hundreds of dice to roll, literally hundreds of dice to roll over the course of hitting, wounding, and him doing armor saves. Of course, you hit automatically on the tank, so that makes it even better. All you have to do is roll 6s to wound. Now, tanks have gone up to toughness 10, but you can still actually wound high toughness targets with low strength now in the new rules. You don't need a high strength as well. So I'm managing to actually take a couple of wounds off it already every round, just from sheer weight of attacks here going into the tank. Really cool photo though. As a side effect though, unfortunately, the giant rats are stuck behind the slaves. In the next photo, the Doom Wheel has moved around to actually electrocute the Outriders, but rolling a misfire for its gun, and it went careening off a different direction without firing. In the meantime, the assassin didn't rally and actually ran back through the Screamer Bell, but the Screamer Bell's moved up in front of the river there to just entice the greatswords to charge me without gaining their rank bonus, that is. In the meantime, the Rat Ogres have charged his knight unit, which has fled, and they've now assaulted the building with the gunners in it. Next picture. Here's a picture of that. The Rat Ogres just attacking the building there, taking some wounds, really just crashing the guys in the buildings with their ferocious attacks. But his general and his Arc Lector have fled, and they've only got a single knight there left in the unit. Hopefully they can rally. But really wanted to avoid the Rat Ogres there from that unit, because that was quite a lot of points this got stuffed into that little unit there. And the greatsword's still hanging on the riverbanks. Next photo shows you my fire thrower finally going off. The warp fire thrower actually toasting all of these Outriders in the flank. I should say Pistoliers actually. Getting a 10 and moving it forward and actually touching every single guy with the breath template, and strength 5 just wiping them all out. So very satisfying, getting a whole buttload of points with just that one warp fire thrower. That's what these little guys are all about. Just getting them to position the first turn and then just toast them in the second turn. Next photo, the other warp fire thrower doing the same thing, just landing a big sheet of fire all over the greatswords, killing about 10 of them, maybe even like 7 to 10. They did have a bit of a save there with their full plate, but still very tasty getting that fire over them. Cool shot that. Next image, the Doom Wheel just going screeching away in a different direction, due to misfiring, and leaving his other Outriders there ready to just shoot at the slaves. Not too worried about the slaves though, because the 2 points a model. It's a Doom Wheel misfiring that I'm more worried about. Next image, finally, we've got the epic battle on the hill in the middle of the field. We've got Flagellants charging in at the slaves. Now, this was a critical combat. I was actually quite nervous about these dice here, because if he won the combat, it would mean that the combat result would affect the other 2 units involved with the combat, because the steam tank's there as well. So that could have meant a break test with both my clan rats and my plague monks, and they'd lose their frenzy as well. But what happened here is that I managed to kill so many of the Flagellants when he attacked, and because he martyred some of them at the beginning, I managed to reduce his strikebacks to about 7, with 7 models there. So with so few guys striking back, I didn't actually lose the combat, instead winning it and carrying on to future rounds. So really happy with how this turned out, and I was very happy I managed to get Death Frenzy off too, because otherwise those Flagellants would have been a real problem for this combat in the middle. Next image, I've actually had my bell destroyed now by his cannon, just totally shooting it every single turn. The Stormbrand at the beginning of the game didn't help at all, and he still managed to get a few shots off, so the bell has now gone down without actually causing much damage to his line or buffing me very much. The Doom Wheel has come back to try and do some more damage again, and the Rat Ogres are just continuing to assault that building, losing one member and trying for a second time, I believe. He's actually rallied his unit with the characters in the background as well. In the next photo, the Rat Ogres finally managed to assault the building and win, so they've actually crawled to the top of the tower to just yell victoriously at the top. Don't really know what they sound like, but you can try and imagine in your head as to how that goes. It looks like the slaves are getting ready to flank the greatswords should they charge across the river. Next photo, that's exactly what they do, and they actually make it across the river quite soundly and totally pummel my unit here. That model to the left of the photo with the yellow in the helmet represents the Gracier, because the bells were destroyed. Didn't have a suitable model on hand, but really I just got hammered here, absolutely hammered. The BSB I think might have been killed, and my rats just totally murdered, and I fled. And I think this could have been the end of the game. I might have even conceded at this point had he caught me, but due to Skaven getting +1 to their flee roll, it's more than likely that I was going to make it away, and I did, luckily, having my banners captured and everything, and Phil taking an advantage in this game due to that happening, and really gaining the points there. So next photo, what happens here is that the clan rat unit rallies with the Gracier, and the BSB still alive. And in my turn during that rally, the assassins moved to the unit just to try and stave off the next attack. And over the hill there, the giant rats are finally swarming over the hill. The flagellants have been wiped out, and the slave unit is still alive, although losing members to death frenzy every turn. And the tank's still under siege, down to about 3 or 4 wounds left on the actual entire tank. So things getting a bit desperate at this point, because if he charges me again, it's going to be harder for me to rally, and I've got all 3 of my characters in that unit. So that's a big point sink against his point sink, and he's got his other characters rallied at the back, so really Phil's ahead on points here. So what I went for was a desperate gamble. Just before I go to that commentary on what actually happens, meanwhile the Rat Ogre's leaving the building and getting into position to charge that accursed artillery, which is shooting down everything that I've got. In fact, Phil manages to kill my doom wheel as well with his cannon, just getting lucky with that cannon, killing everything, the bell, the doom wheel, anything he can get a ball of lead on. But what I've decided to do in my magic phase is cast the dreaded 13th spell, and if we go to the next picture, I managed to get it. Without irresistible force. I rolled 6 dice, I rolled exactly 25, no resistible force. He didn't have a scroll, and that warped his entire unit of greatswords into clan rats, including his BSB and his warrior priest. So that was absolutely game-breaking, just absolute relief there. That I managed to eliminate his biggest threat and pick up a wad of points, like an absolute buttload of points there, while keeping my characters alive. So just really lucky to have that swing in my way finally. What I should have done earlier on is just not engage the greatswords, just kept the bell back, kept the unit back, and not even fought that, and just try and get the dreaded 13th spell off anyway, and play it safe. Next photo, the slaves are really replenished, but I've moved the giant rats around here just in case I didn't manage to get the spell off on the greatswords, and if they'd charged my clan rats, I would have tried to hold on there with the assassin and stick in there until I can get the giant rats on the side. So I did have a backup plan, but at least plan A worked this time. Next photo, I managed to seal the deal, and this is I think the last photo before my opponent concedes the game, because I shot off a Crack's call here on his Knights unit, who had reformed to try and charge down the Rat Ogres, killing his artillery line. And Crack's call actually eliminated both of his Lord level characters. Very unlucky. He absolutely failed both initiative tests and had them sucked down to the doom of the Cracks, and that was it for the game. I got all my characters there, I'd wiped out all of his important stuff, and the tank was down to about 2 wounds at that point. So that was all he could do. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. I thought it was a thoroughly epic game, and hope to have some more of these coming up in 8th edition for you soon. Thanks, guys.